YouTube thumbnails. From the clickbait days of the early 2000s to the fully saturated, eye-searing MrBeast times that we are in now, YouTube thumbnails have evolved. Because we're in the digital age, it's more important now than ever to be fluent in media. So for my presentation, I'm going to show you how YouTube thumbnails are made and how they've changed over the years, and how this pattern may reveal where they will be headed in the future. Before we identify a pattern, we need to go over a bit of history. YouTube first came out in 2005. In this first iteration, a video's thumbnail would randomly be selected from any number of the video's frames. Because of this randomness, thumbnails were inconsistent media in which to draw in viewers. The only place for creativity was in the title. However, in 2006, YouTube gave more customization to thumbnails. This led to a bit more intentionality, often with the creator's face as the primary element. This was the beginning of the shift away from text, and more of a focus on the visual aspects of the thumbnail. As the meta evolved, people came up with more creative ways to stand out because that's all it is, standing out from the crowd. It became a race for more expression, brighter colors, and last but not least, clickbait thumbnails. Clickbait thumbnails dramatize the content of the video, if not outright lying, and for a good amount of the time allude to sexual content within the video. Within this clickbait era, text's visual elements peaked. However, in 2016, something happened that changed YouTube forever. The adpocalypse. Essentially, this was YouTube's crackdown on explicit content that was not deemed appropriate for advertising. This, in effect, forced thumbnails to be more subdued and discouraged the raunchy lying that had been sucking kids' eyeballs in for years. The adpocalypse correlated with a cultural change as well. People were well aware of the optimized clickbait thumbnails that lied for views. People were ready for something fresh. Post-adpocalypse, there was an emergence in what I'm calling honest titling. As I see it, this is a reaction against viewers being clickbaited for over 10 years.
I was sucking.
So the pattern that I found is a battle between visual and textual prominence. The early years featured a plain visual thumbnail with honest textual descriptions, which translated into an emphasis on visuals, followed by the increase of both visual and textual elements together. And finally, a resurgence of a simpler thumbnail recipe. As I see it, we've repeated the cycle, and are somewhere in the midst of nostalgic, homemade feeling thumbnails in terms of visual and textual elements. As far as predicting a future pattern, my best guess is thumbnails will become even more simple and honest.